What's up, tennis fan? Sleepy Picks here. We had two awesome quarterfinal matches. We'll recap those and take a look at our semifinal pick. Let's get started. And here's a look at our records for the quarterfinals. Everyone 2-0 so far. Shout out to Panda, though. He got Lehecka in straight sets exactly, and Feast winning in 3 sets exactly. Really great calls from Panda. Pamplemousse also has Sarundalo in 3 sets, while I have Zverev winning in 3. We'll see who wins out there. Let's take a look at these matchups. And the first quarterfinal was Lehecka beating Landaluce. And we did call a straight sets. Everybody on the cast called a straight sets win for Lehecka, but I think we thought it was going to be a little bit easier than what we saw. This was a great performance from Landaluce. You could definitely tell that he was tired. The legs kind of slowed down a little bit. Lehecka sensed that his all-around game is very good against a guy like that. Lehecka able to push the Landaluce around with a forehand, come into net, hit some short balls, challenge that up and back movement of Landaluce. And honestly, I think Landaluce did such a good job just being able to stay with Lehecka. 10 break points by Lehecka, and Lehecka finally able to knock the door down and get his one break was the match point. So he was able to get that and win the match in the second set. But Landaluce able to save 9 break points. I mean, extremely impressive from him. I think he's got a lot of confidence. It's so interesting to see. The walk-on was talking about this last night, the depth of the ATP Tour. Like, this is a guy that has never been in this situation, but just to see him, the patterns that he comes up with to save these break points, he always goes to, shots where he's extremely confident, and that's great to see from a guy like that. Now, one thing that the announcers were talking about a little bit is that he's extremely close to the French Open rankings cutoff. So fingers crossed that he's going to be able to get into that. Would be such a shame to see a guy making this kind of run, kind of feeling himself right now, and then not being able to make it into the world's second Grand Slam of the year. So hopefully he's able to get in. I think the cutoff is next week. So that's extremely important to get him into that match. Let's take a look at some of the statistics here from the match. We had Lehecka 40 winners to the Landaluce 39 winners. Lehecka with 8 aces to the Landaluce 6 aces. Lehecka serving at 64% first serves, winning 85% of those first serves. He also served at 58%, winning 58% of his second serves. And Landaluce serving at 62% first serves, winning 70% of those first serves, and winning 57% of his second serves. Landaluce only getting 1 break point, and he was 0 for 1, and Lehecka 1 for 10 on his break chances. And in that first set breaker, I think it was pretty evident the fatigue that Landaluce was kind of feeling. I feel like we've seen him play so many clutch matches that I was just surprised to see a 7-1 breaker. And in that breaker, there were a couple of unforced errors. There was a missed drop shot that was really uncalled for from Landaluce, and then there was a double fault. So just a lot of errors that we're not used to seeing from him. And it could be the moment, but it could also be fatigue. It could be a mix of both. So he drops that first set, 7-1. They go back and forth in the second set. Landaluce gets a break chance, I believe, right around 3-all, and not able to convert there. Lehecka, sensing the moment, is able to push Landaluce in that final game. Landaluce had 40-30 to bring it into a breaker, but Lehecka just too tough, pushing Landaluce around with that forehand, hitting confidently from Lehecka. He's able to win this match 7-6, 7-5. Let's take a look at the next quarterfinal. And this match has to be one of the nominees for match of the year so far. Obviously, that Sinner Djokovic semifinal in Australia, that was a classic, but this one really delivered. We had the walk-on said this was going to be a popcorn match. That's exactly what we got. I couldn't take my eyes off this match. Clean tennis. It looked at the end of the third set, Tommy Paul's winning all the long points. It felt like the shot aggression of Arthur Fils was starting to diminish. Paul just getting every ball back, making Fils hit big shot after big shot. And it just felt like the body blows continued to land on Paul, but he's able to deflect every single one. We get to a breaker. Tommy Paul up 6-3 in the breaker, and we see a Houdini act from Arthur Fils, able to get out and win the breaker 8-6 in the third set. Just an incredible match, and honestly, I would have been happy with either player winning. Obviously, we picked Arthur Fils to get through in straight sets. That wasn't even close. This felt like a Tommy Paul match the whole way through. Let's take a look at some of those stats here from this match. Aces, we had Tommy Paul with 6, Arthur Fils with 10, 2 double faults from Fils. Arthur Fils serving at 70%, winning 78% of those points. Tommy Paul serving at 63%, winning 84% of those points. Tommy Paul winning 68% of the second serve points, and Arthur Fils winning 74% of the second serve points. No break points converted here. There were only 7 total. Fis's first break point came in the 6-5 game of Tommy Paul serving to get it to that third set breaker. So up until then, Tommy Paul extremely clean on his serve. We were completely wrong saying that it was going to be the Arthur Fils return, taking advantage of the Tommy Paul second serve. We saw how well Paul served against Etcheverry. I thought that was going to be just because Etcheverry, more defensive style, that Fils was going to come in with a much more aggressive style. That wasn't really the case. I mean, Fils definitely throwing his blows, but he wasn't connecting as much as I thought he would here. And credit to Tommy Paul, he's able to win the majority of the long points in the third set. The majority of the long points in the second set. They were about split in the first, but not enough to beat Arthur Fils. Fils just too strong. And guys, we talk about Fils coming back from injury. He's trying to groove himself here. He's trying to figure out where he stands with all the top guys. He remembers how good he was challenging Carlos on the clay last year. Now he's back. This is going to be a massive confidence booster for Arthur Fils. One of the big things I will note, though, is thankfully he gets a day off. I think if he had to come and play the semifinal match the next day, I think he would have had a lot of issues physically, but also mentally, because you have to be emotionally exhausted from playing a match like this, just grinding it out, no breaks, winning it 6-7, 7-6, 7-6. Just an extremely tough fight from Arthur Fils. We're going to see a lot more of him this year. Let's move on to the semifinal breakdown. And here's a look at our first semifinal match for the Miami Open. Arthur Fils taking on Yuri Lehecka. Both guys playing an amazing quarterfinal match. Very tough. They're grooved. They're ready to go. They get a day off, which is nice. Let's take a look at Fis's road to the semifinals. He's able to beat Darwin Blanche 6-2, 6-3. He takes out Tsitsipas 6-0, 6-1. He takes out Vachereau 6-4, 6-7, 6-4. And then he takes out Tommy Paul in impressive fashion 6-7, 7-6, 7-6. Fils improves to 11-2 on the outdoor hard courts. He just looks great. The forehand is booming. He loves the pace of these courts. I love everything that I'm seeing from Arthur Fils. Let's take a look at Yuri Lehecka's path to the semifinals. He beats Kwame 6-2, 7-5. He takes out Ethan Quinn, who we know is playing good tennis, making it out to the third round, winning the Phoenix Challenger last week. Lehecka beats him 6-3, 7-6. He takes care of Taylor Fritz 6-4, 6-7, 6-2, and then he beats Martin Landaluce 7-6, 7-5. Yuri Lehecka is 9-5 on the outdoor hard courts. Looking at their head-to-head, it is 2-1 for Arthur Fils. Arthur Fils winning their last matchup, which was this year, 6-3, 6-3 in the quarterfinals of Doha. Those are also fast courts as well. They did play two other times. Yuri Lehecka winning last year in 2025 in Toronto, a three-setter over Arthur Fils, 3-6, 6-3, 6-4 in the third round. And Arthur Fils winning in Davis Cup, it looks like 6-7, 7-5, 6-4 in 2024. This was on an indoor hard court. Looking at this matchup a little bit further, guys, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the battle of these two forehands back to back again. And we remember that Lehecka Arthur Fils match, and the one thing that I felt we saw was Arthur Fils able to find the Lehecka backhand and really expose it, where Lehecka wasn't able to step around and hit the forehand that he wants because the ball was coming so fast. You have Arthur Fils taking the ball early on the backhand side, just ripping the forehand extremely big, that Lehecka wasn't able to get a lot of time to kind of step in and rope the forehand the way he wants. Is he going to have time here on this court? I really don't think so. I think we're going to see more of the same. The one thing that worries me was what I had mentioned earlier is I wonder how emotionally exhausted Arthur Fils is from that Tommy Paul match. I think it's great that he gets a day off, but for him to get out and win that match, having three straight match points back to back to back to save in a breaker where there were no breaks in a match, it's a lot to get through. I think he's going to be ready. I love the way that Arthur Fils engages with the crowd. That's something that we don't really see much from Lehecka. I mean, this whole crowd is going to be on the side of Arthur Fils, and I think that's going to help him as well. He really does, like, even in a crowd that was very pro Tommy Paul, Arthur Fils is still kind of raising his hand up, calling them to cheer him on. You love to see that, and the Miami crowd appreciates good tennis for sure. I really feel like this is going to be a three-set win for Arthur Fils, if not a straight set win for Arthur Fils. Something tells me this is going to get a little bit tricky at some point. Like, maybe we see that Arthur Fils has control of this match, and he has a chance to get to a Masters final. And we see the nerves kind of settle in a little bit. We saw that in the match point that he had in that 6-5 game. Second serve from Tommy Paul. Fils ropes a forehand, and Tommy Paul's able to deflect it. Fils goes over to hit that cross-court forehand and misses it by a mile. And you could feel the nerves a little bit. And then I think the next couple of points were a few errors from him, just like thinking, I think, about that missed opportunity there. But then having saved those match points, he started to free up a little bit and really just strike the ball a little bit more confidently. So I do think this is going to get a little bit tricky for one guy or the other. This is a huge opportunity for both guys to get out to a final of a Masters Series. Remember, Lehecka hasn't made a semifinal of a Masters Series since 2024, back in Madrid when he got hurt, when he got injured. And he's been recovering from a back injury ever since. Now he's here and back and ready to go. I think this is going to be a great match. I can't wait to see both these forehands on display. Two of the best forehands on tour. But I'm going to go with Feast. Give me Arthur Feast in 3 sets. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share your picks in the comments. Share the video. Don't forget, we have a quarterfinals video with me, the Walk-On, and Panda, reviewing all the quarterfinal matchups, including the 2 that are coming up tomorrow. We will also have a video out for the second semifinal once those quarterfinals are concluded. Looking forward to the semifinal matches. I'll see you guys in the next video.